Hey, welcome to Intern Connect, the podcast where we prove the best place to launch your career might be closer than you think. I'm your host, Karen George, the program manager for Hello West Michigan. Whether you're halfway through your first internship, still figuring out what to do with your life, or just trying to find a coffee shop that isn't a 45-minute drive away, this podcast is for you. West Michigan is having a moment. From the lakeshore to downtown Grand Rapids, companies here are doing big things, and they want you to be a part of it. Each episode, we'll sit down with former interns who turned their summers into careers, local coordinators who know what it takes to stand out, and HR leaders who are actively looking for the next generation of West Michigan talent. Consider this your pregame to the West Michigan Intern Connect Conference happening this June. Now let's get connected. I'm here today with Kimberly Van Driel from Downtown Grand Rapids Incorporated. She's the director of public space management there, and I'm so excited to talk to her a little bit more about all the great things going on in Grand Rapids. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you.
So, Kim, can you start off by telling us a little bit about your career journey from where you started, what pivots you made along the way, and how you ended up where you are?
Yeah. After college, I moved back here, and that was during a recession. And it was very difficult to find any sort of jobs at that time. I was pretty cutthroat. And I started doing some freelance for graphic design, I went to school for graphic design and advertising. So I started doing some freelance, and then I had to get a waitressing job to supplement income until I found something permanent. And eventually a position came up for the city of Grand Rapids, and it was split between two different departments. One department was the Downtown Development Authority. They needed help with social media and some marketing collateral and secretarial meeting minutes, the non-fun stuff. And then there was the police department's office of special events that was looking for an assistant event coordinator that would be able to help approve all city events and rent parks and permits and street closures and all that. So I was there and I stayed there for quite a while. And then a man named Christopher Larson came into town and started the organization Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc., which houses the Downtown Improvement District, the Downtown Development Authority, and the Monroe North TIFA. So the Downtown Development Authority was moved under DGRI. And after meeting with him and finding out what I really wanted to do, he hired me on full time to manage marketing and all the graphic design and then events.
Gotcha.
And then from there, I really just grew my department. I'm not involved in the marketing and social media side of that. Our communications department handles all that now. But I built an events and activation team. So now we're in charge of all public art and public spaces and all events within our downtown district. So that's
great.
me
Keeps
in
you
a
busy.
nutshell.
Amazing. So along the way, what have been your biggest lessons and takeaways? If you could give advice to your just out of college self, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Networking is really important. I was horrible at that, and I'm still not good at it to this day.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it's part of the job that requires, but I'm not someone that enjoys doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
But there is so much that comes out of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think had I known where to go when I first moved into town on how to become a professional, I was a student, and I wasn't a professional yet. I didn't have experience. So it was just me blind emailing people my resume, which is great. And I would highly encourage that and go in and drop it off in person as well. But going out and networking with a young professionals group or something like that to start meeting people and getting to know the right folks that can help get you in the door, I think is key.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all relationship based. We actually hear from a lot of interns that they know it's important to network. They hear that all the time, but they don't know how to do that. They have no idea how to get started. They don't know where to go. They don't know what questions to ask. Do you have any tips or tricks for them?
One example I'll use is one year I was getting an award and being recognized. And I invited my sister and she had a job, but she went there and sat next to an executive director from the company she wanted to work. And they hit it off, and she was hired on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
So because she went to go network, you never know who you're going to be sitting next to.
Yeah.
Whether it's in an airplane or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm notorious for getting on an airplane and putting my earbuds on and pretending I'm asleep. But it is important.
If
and
you
it's
can resist that urge.
Yeah, if
talk
you're
with
trying
people.
to
Yeah.
network and trying to get out there, like, definitely resist that urge and extend your hand and tell people who you are and find out who they are, because generally people do want to help other people and they just have to know how and get to know you a little bit. And usually if you hit it off with someone, people are generally nice and want to see other people succeed for the most part. So they'd be able to connect you with someone.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's important to remember that we're not all out to get each other. We're actually here to help you and here to support each other. And yeah, especially in West Michigan, everyone's friendly. So
Yeah.
if you start talking to them, they're going to talk back.
Yeah, exactly. I find that pretty much I've lived around the country, and overall, everyone wants people to be happy for the most part.
So how did you end up in West Michigan and what's kept you here?
I grew up here. I grew up in a suburb of Grand Rapids, and I never thought that I would stay here.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to leave. I moved to Florida first, and then I moved to Colorado, and then I moved back to Florida, and then I would come back for visits, and things were very different from when I graduated.
Yeah.
Just in that five-year period. Our Prize had started, and that during the early years of Our Prize, it was just magical, and it looked like a city that I didn't recognize at all, and it was so much fun. So it was something, then I became a tourist to come back. And when it came time to, after me graduating college, I thought about, what's the next state I'm going to move to? And then I got some peer pressure from some friends. The grass is never greener. It's just a different shade, that's for sure. So in here, I actually did have a network and people surrounding me and supporting me. So I came back and I stayed.
Amazing. That's great.
Haven't thought about leaving yet.
That's great. I love hearing about how it's changed in the time that since you grew up to now and how it brought you back. I love that. Can you tell us a little bit more about DGRI, or Downtown Grand Rapids Inc., and tell us about the purpose that your organization serves?
Yeah, sure. So it can be a little complicated, but ultimately we're a government nonprofit entity, and we own land. We support businesses and development and events within our footprint of downtown, and that's basically Leonard to Wealthy and Seward to Lafayette-ish. It's zigzagged and everything, but within that space is where we spend our money and our time, and we're involved with anything from restoring the rapids and the river, greenway and public spaces and events and all kinds of activation efforts, mobility efforts, downtown neighborhood, making sure that downtown is seen as a neighborhood and connecting with our residents. And then also our economic developments of infrastructure and businesses as well. And we've got our hands in education in the downtown. We don't run any education, but we help financially support like GRPS and make sure that there's education within the downtown footprint. So literally anything in the downtown, we've got our hands into it in some way or another.
Amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about the programming that you've worked on with DGRI? I know you do a lot with the WOW Festival, the World of Winter, which is the largest winter festival.
Yeah, in the U.S.
Amazing. That's fantastic. And that's defined by how long it goes, right?
How long it goes, how many installations and events that are also that happen within the 2-month time frame. So yeah, we put on, I don't know, like over 300 events a year in our organization. And that could be from ribbon cuttings to grand openings to, we have our weekly Relax at Rosa lunchtime series for our downtown workers, but students come out in busloads. It was originally for a reason for downtown workers to get out of their business and go get some food and get a break and relax. But it's become so much more than that. So we do that weekly from May through September. And we also put on our Return to the River Festival, which is a weekend-long festival honoring the river, and it brings in all kinds of performing acts, art from around the world, as well as from local artists. We get about 10,000 people a day that come to that, and it's got an artisan market. And then we have World of Winter, which is the 2-month-long festival. And yeah, now it's been the largest winter festival for a few years. And we do anything from walking tours to Hungry Hippos to painting the park. There's so many different events. And then we have different programs as well. But when we also bring in international art that stays, and it's all usually interactive. And we also work with local artists also. So tons of events and activities going on. But yeah, we're involved in that. But then we also do more public space activation initiatives of murals and public art, and we're very involved in redesigning and designing our public spaces. So we work with our architect and urban planner and the city very closely in those regards. We help financially pay for some of those, but we also help design.
Gotcha. So of the events that you guys host, what is your favorite can't miss or recommend specifically to our interns?
Well, I'm going to plug something that isn't exactly public knowledge yet, but just last fall, we purchased 2 permanent projection mapping projectors for Lions Square, and we've been doing a show for World of Winter called Seasonal Wonders, but this was all in an effort to get our permanent show up called the Grand Rapidian, and we'll be having our grand opening May 28th.
Amazing.
In the square. And this new show is done by Eddie Schaefer, who's a local artist, as well as with Drop Studios and Live Space and myself. And it is all about how Grand Rapids came to be and our story of history. And this will be shown nightly now, starting that May 28th date. And it will be every evening from dusk until 11 p.m. through the summertime, and then after September until 10 p.m. And we're hoping to create a new projection mapping program where local Michigan artists can do projection projects as well.
Cool.
So we want to create a grant program for that. But for now, this is the first show that will be on repeat regularly, and it'll be shown year-round.
That's awesome.
For
What
free.
a great way to inspire the love of the city. And I really appreciated about Grand Rapids, the public art. I think that's a really important aspect of the city and something that drew me here for sure.
That's great.
Can you talk about maybe your favorite art experience or project or thing to look out for?
Well, there's been so many.
Yeah.
I really love our Heartside Historic Mural series that we do. We Women's Way project where we honor women that have paved the way for women today and do a mural in their honor and name the alley after them. That's a nice one. There's one particular project that I really loved was the mural in Anishinaabe, and it's in the tunnel between the public museum and Anabwin Park, and it's currently locked off because of the construction. But that project was so meaningful because there used to be these 3 plum orchards that were right there along the river, and it was a healing place for our Native women to go and pray and heal. And it was ripped up by urban development, and same with the mounds that were there. Those mounds there are now replicas. We hired an artist to depict what those plum tree orchards were about, and we worked with the Grand River Bands of Ottawa Indians to do a water ceremony and plant a plum tree in honor of what used to be there, and hired Jason Quigno, who's a renowned sculptor that lives here locally, also Anishinaabe. And yeah, we had this beautiful moment, and I think it just shows like how art can gather a community and heal a little bit. We have to own what was done of things, but I think healing can be done through art and collaboration, and this was just one step that I personally, I found that this project very moving to me and just why I do what I do.
That's great. Amazing. So in your eyes, what sets Grand Rapids apart from the other cities around the country?
So much. I think I travel quite a bit, and we have such, I think, civic pride here. We're very specific on local and keeping things local, and that as a big priority. I think we're very prideful people and very proud to be tough Michiganders. But then we have this internal even debate between Detroit. Are you West Side or are you East Side? And I think that friendly banter is just shows who we are as people. But yeah, I think we have a lot to offer here. We're growing rapidly and we're getting more and more activities and amenities here. More jobs are being created. So I think we're on the rise to becoming one of the best in class cities. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
For sure. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the maybe lesser known resources and programs that are available downtown? I know that you've mentioned downtown ambassadors.
Oh,
tell us a little bit about that and maybe some other resources that the summer's interns can look out for to maximize their time here.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, the downtown ambassador program is amazing. These people are incredible. They're out on the streets year round. And they all just are the happiest people. They're just happy to help you. If you get in a jam with your tire flat, they'll change your tire. You get stuck from one building to another and need an umbrella escort, they'll do that. If you feel unsafe walking to your car, they'll guide you. They're there to help change the trash, empty cigarette urns. They handle all the beautification like planters and stuff downtown. So they just do a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of different programs for businesses for grants and a liquor license. We help out with that stuff. For my side of the shop, we have grants for window activations for businesses that want to decorate their windows. We have a grant called Activate This Place, and that's for anyone that wants to do an event or public art installation or a program. So that's it gets competitive, but it's really great, and that's up to $10,000. We have a seasonal event sponsorship program, and that's up to $5,000 for events happening from October through April, because we're trying to incentivize people to do more events during the cooler months of the year.
Absolutely.
Which is really important.
It is super
People
important.
are asking for that. As you can see with World of Winter, we get 4 million people out in 2 months to come to the event. There's clearly a demand, so we try to help with that.
Yeah, I think people think that that Michigan shuts down in the winter,
No,
and
we
that's
don't.
not the case
We're
at all. You can still
Michiganders.
do things even when it's snowing
Yes,
outside.
absolutely.
Just make sure your tires are good, and then
Yes.
you're all okay.
Get yourself a hot toddy.
Yes.
And go walk around, bundle up.
There you go.
Yes.
Perfect. I love that. Circling back on the downtown ambassadors, how can interns or anybody downtown, how can they access those ambassadors or reach out to them?
They have a regular number that you
Okay.
can call at any time, and someone will be there to answer. So their number is 616-250-8263.
In the meantime, if you have a flat tire or something like that downtown, you can give that number a call. Awesome.
Indeed,
Very
yes.
cool. That's awesome. So I think we're about ready to wrap up here. So can you tell people how to follow your work or connect with you if they have questions about the happenings downtown?
Sure. Yeah. Via email. You can always reach out to me, of course, and my information's on our website. I'm on LinkedIn and social media. I'm on all the things.
Awesome.
So feel free to reach out anytime.
That's great. And then can you give us your West Michigan favorites? Maybe your favorite restaurant, your favorite coffee shop, any other hidden gems that you want to mention that are personal favorites?
I'm like such a creature of habit. So I think I go to Bangkok Taste downtown religiously, Rome religiously, and Reservoir Lounge. Yeah, so those three are like my top go-tos
That's
for
great.
food-wise.
Okay, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Kim. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Intern Connect. If you haven't already, make sure you're registered for the main event, June 10th at the Amway Grand Plaza in Grand Rapids. It's the state's largest conference for interns, and it's going to be a day full of real conversations, real connections, and real opportunities. And the fun doesn't stop there. The Intern Connect social series keeps the momentum going all summer long with Bocce Night at Silva GR on June 16th and an evening at Millennium Park on July 15th. Head to hellowestmichigan.com to register and get all the details. We'll see you there.